castle. You're faithful or you're a traitor. There comes Alan coming. One of you must go and we'll see you later. You're a traitor.
Hey there! Hello to our faithfuls. Welcome back to Tally the Votes, Traitors Edition. We are here to indulge in another scrumptious scone of scandal and deceit on week 6, and it was quite a treat. Joining me are my 3 buddies of the Bell Tower. First draw of this Rochambeau is the lovable leader in the rebellion against Rob, our Fergus, our friend, Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey, and I'm back for another attack on the the evil dark forces of Rob. So let's rally the troops and go.
Now, we know that Ivor can prepare the tea, but there is no one who can dish it, no one who can spill it, and no one who can serve it, quite like our gal Christy. Hey, lady.
Woohoo! You know, unlike the actual Traitor turret, I don't want to kill all of you. So, how you guys doing?
And you don't have crazy eyes either.
And last but not least, we have the man who will never shy from filling your black powder bucket when you need help getting it up. Our little Floridian firecracker. Say hello to David.
Boy, I'm glad I'm useful.
Well, it was kind of a wild week. We have 3 traitors. They're all at each other's throats. $30,000 more in the pot. Another murder. Another banishment. Faithful gets the boot. So I think the best place to start in all this is just like right at the beginning in the bell tower. We've got Carolyn in the bell tower meeting. Christy. Carolyn says that all she wants to do is murder them both, which I figure you could probably relate to that. That's got like mad mom energy, right? Like,
Yeah, she's, you know, the
I've
thing
been
about
there.
Carolyn is like she is saying it and it's still coming across as like, I'm just angry with you, which I think is what she's telling them. It's like, oh, I've had it with both of you. You both suck. I hate you both. You guys are the worst. But she's still willing to work with them, right? She's like just telling them that they suck. And they do.
I think so. She gets like the emotions come out and then she backpedals it a little bit. And then it's like, oh, I'm
she
sorry.
has to vent it out. She's got to let it out in
It's
words. And
come
then
out.
she's like, now I can calm down. And I can totally relate to that.
Well, do you think that in that conversation that they had, you know, where they're all like, well, what the hell with each other? Do you think that there was some big mistakes made? And I kind of feel like there might have been some.
Well, clearly there was one.
But I mean, just in that conversation, in the very beginning, not the end bell tower, but that bell tower. Also, what do you think about the idea to murder Bob H?
Well, you talk about mistakes. It's clear to me that Danielle's overplaying when she was talking about when she was talking about Caroline last week, and it got back to her. That's kind of what set her off. Prior to that, Caroline was pretty much anti-Rob and probably would have aligned with Danielle to get rid of Rob. And together, they would have absolutely accomplished it. But you know, I have to say that I enjoy watching Caroline so much, and I don't even know how to express it other than to say, I wish I could be that free in life, just to be like, she has a thought and she shares it. I mean, she gives no fucks. Oh, I'm sorry. No craps whatsoever.
It's true. But the funny thing is it always takes her a little while to get there. You know, she's not like just a rude person that just spouts everything off. It's like you watch it boil up in her, and finally she's like, you almost see her go, okay, I'm like past my healthy boundary, and then just bleh.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, it's almost like
I want to call out Nikki's exit interview, because Nikki's exit interview wherein she said Danielle's game was trash, and she suspected Carolyn, but not Rob. So
what?
Yeah, that's what Nikki said after getting the axe last week. But
So
I,
that
I
changed
think
your
I
opinion
think
of
I
Nikki
think in a
then?
weird way, the chaos of all this, the way I see it playing out, if Carolyn gets one of the other two, the way Carolyn acts, I think people will believe she's a faithful and she'll go pretty far. But I think people absolutely, if Rob or Danielle start picking off traitors with the way they played, I think people will suspect them more than Carolyn.
Yeah, I definitely think that Carolyn's the least suspicious out of the three. I mean, for if any reason, Rob's name's constantly being mentioned, especially in this episode. But so has
As you would
Danielle's.
imagine, it would be. I mean, he's obviously the biggest star, if there was such a thing as
Sure. I mean,
reality
and
TV
historically, you're gonna
stars. And if you look
historic.
at the last couple of years, they've always taken the biggest star and made him a traitor. So,
Yeah,
Mm.
it's definitely a part of it. Now, their decision to axe Bob H. I I had a big problem with this. My problem with this wasn't just because I like Bob H so much. It's because they're doing Rob's bidding still. Bob H
But they
wasn't
don't see
coming
it.
after Danielle. He wasn't coming after Carolyn. They've had no problems with him. But he mentioned Rob's name. And Rob said point blank, nope, he's mentioned my name. He's got to go.
well, let me step that up a notch. Rob called out two names at that turret session. Is that what we call it? I don't even
Yeah.
know what we call it. But and when they were up there in the turret, Rob mentioned two names, and it was Bob H. and Wes. And by
Mhm.
the end of the episode, he got them both.
Both.
So these two traders are absolutely playing Rob's game. And then Rob has his
Yep.
useful idiots on the side, which Rob always has. His group of 5 or 6 who are going to stick with him till the end. There could be a big neon sign over his head that said "traitor" with an arrow, and they wouldn't believe it.
But
Well, and
Danielle
go ahead.
doesn't want to take him out yet because she thinks he'll
Danielle tried to
get
take
people
him
out
out.
Danielle
for her, and then everyone will turn on him. But not if he's
Danielle
taking out all of
is
the people who are against him.
listen, I don't know anything about Danielle and her personal life. She might be just like kick ass and awesome. So none of this is about her as a person. As a gamer in this game, she is a coward. And
Mm.
it is driving me crazy because she's doing the thing that always lets players like Rob win. That like, I'm afraid to make a move. I'm afraid to make a move. I don't want to do it just yet.
But yet she
When
made
she
the
has
move.
but she has people there that would support
No,
that move.
David, she didn't
No,
make the move. If she
Mm-mm.
was going to make the move, she wouldn't have just written his name down.
Okay, fair,
She
but
would
she
have
wrote his
said
name down, which
something.
is a pretty big risk for her, and you're going
But
to
she
find that
would
out
have
next
said
week.
something.
Yep.
She was playing what she thought the table was saying and not making a move.
And she
Had
just
she
didn't
made a
read it
move,
right.
she would have backed up Derek. She would have backed up Wes and said, "These guys have made good points, and I also see this or I see that." And she didn't.
That's what I
She
think
tried
too.
to hide in the background and jump on the winning team.
Yeah.
well, a
It
couple of Danielle's messy spots this week were in the turret, totally apologizing to Carolyn and telling her, "I'm going to make this up to you. I'm going to make this up to you." She overpromised, and at that point, Carolyn didn't even know all the things that she was apologizing for. You know what I mean? Like she
mhm.
was going to hear it the next day, right? So she didn't know all of it. So you're not
Which
going to make up
I,
for it
I
tomorrow.
have to
Sorry.
say worked out well for us the viewer because
Yeah, it did.
it
Yeah, it
gave us
did.
a lot of great
And then, have
conversation.
you noticed over the last 2 episodes the amount of people that Danielle is like, almost like, "You're my number one. You're my number one. You're my number one."
Yep.
That's a
She's got a
problem.
lot of people 100%.
Well,
Yeah,
It's the 100%
yeah.
club.
that's a survivor move, isn't it?
You're
But
I
she
got
didn't
you
play Survivor.
100%, boo. It's you and
Huh?
me.
But she told that to Derek, But
Mhm.
in the church, she had done him dirty last week, taking him down, and then whatever, and then this week again, she's like, I believe Derek. She's like really trying to keep him on her side. He's a master strategist. Is that what she said this episode?
Yeah,
Derek is a master
I
strategist.
just
Oof.
I just don't
He's a
know.
master something.
I I have basically like I've had it with the I've had it with the other players that are around her, and it's not to say that maybe we're just not getting that in our edit. They're not editing that storyline for us just yet, but I feel like Daniel Danielle is such a neon light right now. I mean, like she has a terrible poker face. It's you know, I can't imagine that she was being chattered about that much for that long, and then suddenly she's off everybody's radar.
Yeah. Except Caroline brings her up.
Well, yeah, she does
Good.
because well, and like okay, we'll move to this since we're
Yeah.
headed that way.
Yeah.
The challenge this week created 3 separate teams, and then each of those teams had the opportunity to go for a shield or go for the black powder first. Obviously, they're going to go for the shield.
All of them. Yeah.
Now, Brian, something that really like kind of didn't set right with me is that it seemed like the way that the teams were separated, that anybody who got a shield wouldn't be able to keep it a secret because they had a traitor on each team.
There was one team that did not have a traitor.
Which one was it?
The third one that got their shield. There were 2 traitors on one team, 1 traitor on the
Was
second
that Derek's team?
Oof. I was trying to keep it. I might have to go back and look, but I was trying to keep it straight because they won't know. But all they do, but you know what? They know enough people who don't have a shield from the 2 groups they were in. So all they have to do is target one of those and not target anyone from that other group.
Did anyone else get really
Like, who does-
uncomfortable when Carolyn grabbed the shield and was like, "What? I touched it first."
Well, that was the one dumb move I thought she made this week
I was like, "No."
because you have the safety in numbers of nobody telling who has the shield.
Right. So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter that you have it as much in that game as in some other games, and
Right.
I thought she misplayed that. But can we I just want to throw this out there before I forget.
Yes, please.
First, I want to say, Alan, beautiful turquoise green and tan suit
With his
Like-
his
oh
who
my
knew you
god!
could do sequins with plaid.
Oh,
didn't know that
it
a
was
thing.
If
like
anybody could, it's
that
him.
was sweet. But can I
And the
just ask
braid.
you all? Is Tom Brad Pitt? Is he secretly Brad Pitt because he's eating every time he's on camera?
He is. Oh,
And
he's
he's-
shoveling. He's not just eating.
And then he
he's
wears one
literally
of those, like,
shoveling.
Jamie's gonna know what I mean, those comey headbands that like,
Yes.
combs in. And I'm like, oh, I don't like those. Those poke in your head. So I can't take him seriously.
Also,
I mean, he's like a combination of Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11 and Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys, because he's like
Yeah.
always eating,
Great.
and he
Now
just
we
has
wanna see
crazy theories that, like, to everybody, it's just like, shut up, dude. Like you're
but,
ridiculous.
but also he hates brownies, and I just can't support that.
Oh yes.
I thought
They're
that was
too
Sam.
chocolatey.
What is he's a robot. Come on. There's no such thing. Too much chocolatey. That's like too cheesy. 2 things that are not actual things. Come on.
It's just a weird way to live life. I'm
But
saying.
Brittany was like,
to each their
Brittany was
own,
on
but
clocking that. What, you don't like brownies? You're a liar. I don't trust you.
you
I
are
would-
a filthy liar.
I would like to point out that my prognostication did in fact come to pass. You saw much more of Brittany in this week's edit than you've seen in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
Did you see
Including-
her? Did you see her and Caroline? Caroline tell her you're my number 1. I was so excited.
That made me really happy because it's what
It
I
was
really
like-
needed. I
So
really needed that.
that was my favorite scene of the
But-
episode.
But Carolyn spends pretty much most of the challenge like talking to other people because she gets Gabby, right? And she talks to Gabby and then she finds out, oh, Danielle's dropped my name to you. Okay, good, great.
Yeah.
But when she goes to Brittany and Brittany says, well, she's mentioned your name's been mentioned. And the spit take that Carolyn does, I'm just imagining in my head, and at some point, if I ever find it, because it feels like it's one of those things that's going to happen, imagining Brittany telling the retell of that is funnier than the actual thing.
How it happened.
Like, it's gold. It's going to be
Oh, yeah.
gold.
Now that we're getting rid of some of these people, now Brittany's getting more time, and she's really great.
Yeah, I'm really happy that she's finally got to join forces with the rest of these people.
Now Tom,
Um,
leave her alone.
Yeah, Tom, what the heck? Jeez, jeez, dude. Well, she's going around, Carolyn's going around, and she is talking to everybody about who said what about her. We've got Derek, and he's starting to lay the groundwork. Now this was a very like, just like we had, last episode or whatever, that was like, this is quintessential Rob, this is how he does things all the time. This was Derek's. This is how Derek plays the game every single time. But the thing that was weird to me was the thing with Brittany. Did any of you like see where he felt like, I mean, not to the point where he thinks Brittany's a traitor yet, but he's not being honest with her about Rob?
Well, and then
Because
turning
he
it
thinks
around
he
on
thinks
her to
he
say
thinks
that
Brittany's a traitor with him.
But this was before he even started really
No.
putting that together.
No, I think he thinks Brittany's under Rob's thrall, and you know what? He wasn't totally wrong.
I don't know. I
I felt
haven't
like
seen
she
anything up until now that made me feel that way, but again, editing.
I felt like she
I mean,
was
he
going
came out
up,
and said, "You're a traitor too." At the end of the
but
episode,
only because she went up to him, to Derek, who she knows from Big Brother, and
Yeah.
she knows he's a winner, and she knows he's a cop or ex-cop, detective, whatever. So she goes up to him, asks him a point blank question, thinking he's going to tell her the truth, and then he misleads her. Now, if he had told her the truth, then she might have gone, "Really? Why?"
well, right, and he
and then he
instantly
could have
turns it
convinced her.
around like he's the aggrieved party.
Right. But I think he could have convinced her. He would have laid it all out for her, and she would have been like, "Oh my God, you're right."
Nope.
You don't think
Totally
so?
disagree. She is. I think that he sees her as swayable and knows the charisma of Rob has infected her.
Do you think that he believes
See, I don't
that Brittany saw
see.
the twinkle?
Well,
Maybe could be the twinkle.
Brian, that's interesting because we've obviously seen Brittany play and we've seen Rob play, never together because they were on different shows, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not usually
So
like that.
I don't see that at all because I know how she plays. So it's interesting because you've never watched her play before. You see it completely different. So it's
Who
She's
did
not
she vote?
usually-
Who did she vote for?
Wes.
Wes.
But Wes did behave like an absolute.
Wes was a
douche.
dick, but you know what?
And
You know
so he
what?
got exactly
If-
what was coming to him.
If you look at who laid out the best case, I mean, Derek said that. I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Derek fan, but he said
I am. He's my winner pick.
he said, like, look, if I'm a traitor, Bob H or Rob goes, and if Rob goes, we need to look at Rob. And like, who goes? Bob H. And what did Derek say towards the end of this one when he says
How is he still here? Yeah.
he says, and if I was him, I would take out me and then go, oh look, they're trying to frame me.
They're trying to frame
Like
me.
he's already thinking and seeing how Rob thinks
But
and
he's
what
already
Rob
said
does.
it out loud. He's already said it out loud, so now they can do it because either way, it's going to cause chaos.
Well,
It's either-
but
he said it in front of
But
everyone. So
here's
clearly
the
cheaters
big
heard him.
difference. Is Rob has sycophants. Derek doesn't.
Right.
So
But
when
but
Rob
Derek is-
moves, he's moving with 3 or 4 votes every time.
But
regardless
Derek
of
is
who he
making it
wants.
right now. And here's the key point in all of this with Derek. And again, it's, this comes with seeing him play a couple times doing the other game. But when he went running up the stairs, he yelled down at Dylan and said, "Loyalty goes a long way with me." And that was Big Brother Derek, 100%. He's made a new Cody. Dylan is the new Cody. That's what he
think that-
does. He gets his little bro. He gets a partner. He doesn't
But
need
Dylan
the
didn't vote
group.
with him.
He gets
Not
one.
yet.
Not yet.
Dylan, there will be the Sophie's Choice episode of Traitors for Dylan. You could see it coming. Do I go with Rob
Yep.
or do I go with Derek? Like, I mean, bless his heart, Dylan. These shows aren't populated with the kind of people you'd want to hang out with that seem like the best people in the world. But I mean, Dylan, I think if Dylan joined us at a podcast retreat, he just seems like a solid dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Well,
Likeable
and you got to
human.
realize it's his first time playing. A lot of these folks are established personalities. They're playing a character to some extent.
To some extent. And this is one
what
thing
people
that I
expect to see.
And
Yes.
I do appreciate kind of getting Dylan's point of view. But as I've said, it seems like as far as the US traders go, every season we have a Dylan. We have that like young handsome guy that isn't into the deception game, that's it's is spotting things because they're not like their brain isn't set up for popular votes. You know what I mean? For wow moments. Their brain is set up as just problem solving.
Oh, and they're also not sitting back because you see this season it happened already. I mean, people kind of sit back to see what other people are going to do. And I think that was Derek's problem at this roundtable. Yes, he had the argument to be made, but he spoke first. No one wanted to speak. And then he spoke. And then sometimes it's like whoever makes the last argument is the one that sticks in people's mind. And they
Yeah.
almost can't go backwards to somebody made a point earlier. If they win them, and I just wonder if the order had been different tonight, if it would have helped him. But
Well, and did you notice, Brian, like the way that once Derek finally stepped in and commanded the round table, like how well he controlled that conversation while he was speaking, because he has history hosting his own show.
oh yeah,
Well, I'll give him credit. He could control the conversation.
Mhm.
The problem I've seen is if you've ever done debate,
Yeah.
it's not your initial statement, it's your rebuttal or the rebuttal.
Mhm.
And that's where Rob is the best in this
Yes.
game, is that he can give the counterpoint and then give a rebuttal better than any of these people. Like, some of these people defend themselves well, but then when a couple of people come at them, like, they run out of stuff to say.
Yeah, and
Rob always has something to say.
Rob?
Wes got flustered tonight.
Well,
He
well,
did.
Rob
Wes
laid
got
down
flustered
the.
and acted poorly.
Yeah,
No,
he acted
I think
awesome.
Wes is like
He was
that. I don't
awesome,
think he's-
but
I don't think
but
he's used
Rob
to that.
Rob was able to. You know what? Okay, sometimes what Rob says makes sense. I mean, if you don't have the other knowledge, you can see
Yeah.
where it would seem to make sense. But on top of just having strength in that rebuttal, he'll usually just throw out like a weird statement that just it's like it scrambles people's brains for about 5 seconds, and that's all he needs to like get the
Smoke
hook.
screen.
And in this one, it was, "You're wildly misguided." and it's great because when he said it, everyone's like, "Huh?" And then that's when he started swooping in and pulling these people over a little bit. But Wes, okay, that you couldn't be more entertaining than that. Like, he was boss. I mean, he didn't do good threatening people, but
Well,
it didn't work out well for him.
He did fine, but that's why he went home.
Yes, yes.
But again, the point that multiple people have made is, you might not like how someone acts. If you vote on that, that's not a really good way to get a traitor. And
Yeah, exactly.
it's
again,
just not.
I don't know that they're all trying to get a traitor. I think there's a certain number of people in the house who are just saying, "Not me, don't care who goes."
Sure, if you don't know. But I think that the whole, if you were a traitor, you wouldn't be a jerk to anyone, would you? Because you wouldn't want, you know what I mean?
But
then-
I loved Wes's rebuttal of that, though. Like,
What did he say?
You know,
Did he F-bomb
if I
everyone on the
was-
way out the door? He did, right?
if I was a traitor, then why would I be aggressive? Like, why would I, hey, that is,
But no one's been more aggressive than Rob. I mean, frankly.
well, I mean, that we have seen in conversation, but it seemed like most of the women there kind of felt like Wes was maybe just a little overbearing or aggressive.
We
Well,
saw
he was
Rob
a little
fall-
too. He was a little too type A man. I'm gonna
He's
kill
always
all
like
of
that.
you and break you in half.
Yes,
You know.
he-
He's always like
Well,
that. That's
he's
his-
the
that's
best
his
competitor. That's
Yeah.
fair. So
He's the best game player, period.
ever.
And
But he's like,
and I'm not a traitor, so F you guys.
yeah.
I love how he totally has he's got like the heel personality down pat.
Mhm.
Like, he's got it.
Mhm.
Oh, he flipped the bird. I fully expected like the Stone Cold
good.
Steve
No,
Austin
he told
sound to
him-
play
he
and him to
was like,
smash beer
it
cans
was,
and
you guys go F yourselves, right? When we walked
Yeah.
out. And
Well,
it's
and-
like, wow.
And I'll give it up for that. I've always thought on these shows, these people go, "Good game, by Jove, you got me." I'm like, F you people, F you, F production, F Jeff Probst for sure, and I'm out of here.
Even if Jeff Probst is not the host
Even
of
if
the
I'm
game,
like, even if I'm
David
on the
is saying
Traitors,
it.
I'm still effing Jeff Probst. Could you imagine? That would be legendary if you F Jeff Probst on your way out of Traitors.
Well, I feel like you've set yourself into a position that ever happens and you don't do it, we're going to be widely disappointed.
I mean, Rob had a podcast, would do a whole episode just on that.
Okay, I want to ask you guys this question. I feel like this challenge in particular was the cheesiest, most deceptive editing that they've done on a
right? The
challenge.
fake
Like
explosion.
there's no way they're going to fill the barrel.
Except they're
And it's
already
like,
hitting the first lines.
oh yeah, they're
Early
barely
enough to
hitting the
slow.
first line, and in 4 minutes they travel 8 miles and fill the,
But
fill
also,
the
it's like,
thing.
it doesn't
Well, I
really
think
take that
some
much
of it is they
gunpowder to
have to let
burn.
him win some money. I'm sorry, Chris, you were saying I overtalked you about
That there doesn't take much gunpowder to burn. It's flammable. It will burn no matter how much you have.
I also
and if
feel
it's
like
inside wood, that wood will then burn, and so
I-
you are going to have an explosion of some sort.
okay, but also how convinced are we that that was actually gunpowder and not black
it
sand?
was not.
I'm not even sure the explosion was real. It
No,
looked
it
like it could have
totally
been.
wasn't.
It looked like bad CGI.
It was like flash pots.
Yeah.
And then there was just
Bring
some
on the
black
band.
smoke left over,
Like when I saw Metallica on Injustice for All, that looked better than that.
I seem to remember when I was a kid, there was a Batman comic book where he said gunpowder doesn't burn, right? So you would have to have it something to ignite the gunpowder, and it has to be in a confined space. So I'm not sure the science works on this. So if we have any scientists out there, please opine on whether or not that was a true explosion.
Send us an email at.
And you could send it to us on Telegraph encrypted because, science is under threat these days. So
yes, we're going back to the 1800s.
Well, we're retro though. We have a Yahoo.com email address, man. No one.
That's right.
That.
We
Stick
keep
to
it
the man.
real. We stick with what works. It
You're
works.
like Yahoo. There's nobody under 80 on Yahoo. We're good there.
It's okay. No one's gonna try to get in there or hack it or nothing. So
So before we
we're
move
the
on, I got a
round
question for
table.
Brian. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're with the round table. I did want to point something else out, even though it really doesn't bear pointing out, but it was funny. Is that we have that Tom moment where he's like, Dolores,
yeah,
it's you.
and he's like the misguided person, just like
I
walking
love
around.
Dolores' side eye though. It was awesome.
Well, and I
She's
love
like,
how Dolores is
"Whatever."
she just goes, huh? Well, I think it's you.
Well,
I felt sorry for Tom. This is the only one of these round tables I've ever seen where somebody's like, dude, seriously, just shut up.
Okay,
Just
well,
stop.
Let's see if we can
there
name
was
off.
a collective there.
Yes.
Let's see if we can name off all the conflicts. Of course, there was the Rob Derek and
Rob Derek West
Well,
and then
Rob West.
and the Carolyn and Danielle.
Carolyn Danielle,
Carol and Danielle.
then Brittany,
And
Tom
Tom
and
and
Dolores.
And that's the lot. That's
There wasn't one more?
Brittany
nope,
and Derek,
that's pretty much
right? And
that was pretty much the lot because we have the weird Dolores and Tom thing.
Sierra, who told them at breakfast that
Oh, at breakfast.
that if Bob H was the one that was dead, she was burning it all down.
Right.
Yeah. She didn't really do much, but
She didn't.
but
She was having conflict with everything.
I do really actually enjoy watching Sierra at the round table because she is just sitting in the corner, you're not really a corner of a round table, but she's sitting over there just cussing. It's just this is ridiculous.
Well, that's traitorous behavior, Jamie.
I know she's already got called out once. She needs to be
Mhm.
careful. She needs to be
Can't
so
just
careful.
go around swearing like that.
But we've got Caroline calling out Danielle, which is honestly what we were all kind of waiting for. Like, okay, how's this going to
But
go?
the funny part is most of the table didn't care about it.
They really didn't. But it's the people that
The scene
told
is planted.
her. the people that told her that, well, she's talked about you. She said your name. So we know who has. Dylan, Gabby, and Brittany have all
Brittany.
said it, right?
But did any of them vote with her? No.
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 But one, they're probably more likely to go after a big fish.
Mhm.
And I don't think any of them see Danielle as a big fish, even if they think she's a traitor. I think they think she can be dealt with later. I think everyone's got like goggles on for Rob and Wes.
Well, now Wes is gone, so now who?
He sure is.
You know what I mean? So
Well, and
To drag-
when Wes was voted, I think one really good move that I thought Carolyn did was she defended Wes
Yes.
before turning on Danielle.
Yep.
So if you think she's,
That
you
he was
know,
a scapegoat.
yes, she basically said he is a scapegoat.
Yeah.
She built some credibility because she
Yeah.
didn't go with the group on
Yeah.
that, and I thought that was a genius. She didn't just jump out and attack Danielle. She said, "You all are looking in the wrong place. You've scapegoated this person because you don't like how he acts. Let's talk about the one causing all the chaos." And went into Danielle, and I thought she did that. And then you don't get too many tears in this show, but when she said, "Wherever I go, I don't fit in."
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
fit in here. And I thought Danielle was my ally, but all she's done is go around and say my name.
talked about
I
me.
thought that was powerful.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I
That was
agree
real. That
because
was real
even
from her.
if she didn't get a rally behind her in that moment as this person being a traitor, she kind of called her out as a traitor, like as a person,
Yeah, you're a traitor to me.
you know.
So
And
yeah.
if somebody like has a traitor's behavior, it's going to be really easier for everyone to kind of lean in a lot. They're a traitor,
Mhm.
just without even. It's almost subconsciously like they've already decided that she's not
So
to be trusted.
while Danielle was going around trying to plant the Carolyn seed, I think it's Carolyn who's planted the Danielle seed a little deeper. Some people were
I think
already
the
looking
Danielle
at her.
feed was already there.
It
Yeah.
was, but I think now they'll be. I think it makes her move up a little bit, and I think it helps Caroline tremendously because if once Danielle's voted out, and I think she will be, it's
I
gonna
think
make
she's
what
going to go
Caroline
next week, actually.
You think she'll
We
go
can talk
before
about that.
Rob?
Yeah, I've got kind of a
Isn't
theory
that
on how I think
funny?
it's going to play.
I've
Who
kind
would've
of
thunk it?
you know what, I'm not afraid to agree with you on that. But I do think we need to just take a second here and get into some feedback. We do have a few emails, and before we get to the closing out of the episode, I want to make sure that we touch base with our feedback. So, David, do you want to go ahead and read what we have?
No, well, you can read the first one and I'll read the second one. You can read Maggie's.
Okay, so I'm going to read the first one. Hold on, let me get it. I wasn't prepared. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, so we have got an email from Maggie. Maggie says, "Hi, friends. Here are my thoughts. Not a full stream of consciousness during the episode, but some random thoughts I had while watching. One, I was afraid Rob was going to go home. It came really close at the round table. It came very close at the round table. Was it
were you
one
any of you
vote?
guys worried that when she voted Danielle that it might go against Rob, that'd be the one vote he would have needed?
I don't think that worried would be the right word, but
Not
I
worried, but like,
suspected
ooh, it could happen.
yeah, it was very close.
Oh,
I-
what if it
I was
happened?
worried
I'm
about
gonna
the
catch hell
revote
for
on the
this.
tie.
I'm going to catch hell for this, but I never thought he was in danger because they hadn't done the Bambis, and the Bambis I knew would go for Rob.
Or would vote with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bambis. I like that. I call them the mids. But yeah,
He knows
same
how to
thing.
talk to women. Again, he's got 4 teenage daughters
Mm-hmm.
and a beautiful wife.
It's
He
not
knows
just
how to
women though.
talk
It's
to ladies.
it's like Dylan. It's like the younger men too flock to him.
He just
It's just
So what you're saying is he's a sociopath. It doesn't matter who someone is. He can lie and manipulate
Well,
them.
he's kind of like the Pied Piper of young people.
I
no.
liked the thing last week when they said like he's like the fun uncle, and I feel like that really like Puts it
Oh
because
my
you
God,
want to know
you kind
what?
of really hit that status.
Yeah,
But
I
the
know. I
thing
was
is,
like, oh,
you
that's
know what though?
perfect.
Like a lot of people really love the fun uncle, but some of us are like, I don't know if I trust fun uncle. So, like I'm
Fun Uncle Touchy.
like, I think I'm gonna stay over here. Okay, let's see. Continuing on, the traitors are a mess. It's going to be hard for them to work together. Yes, I do believe you're correct. I can't believe Wes threatened everyone. That wasn't very smart. It seemed to sway a lot of people. With the shields being a secret, who do you think's going to be killed? Um, I mean, they're kind of a secret, but not that much of a secret. It seems like with the, like you said, the one group.
Well, let's save our predictions for who's going to be killed at the end.
So
I don't think that anybody is particularly safe or unsafe due to the shields. However, I think that Carolyn has a unique position in the sense that she knows that she's a traitor. She needs to keep the heat off her because Danielle's been talking. She has this shield. She needs to pick somebody in her group and say, listen, I have been hearing your name and I am going to give you the shield. Don't tell anybody.
mm,
And gain an ally. I don't know that that'll happen, but if I was whispering in Carolyn's ear, that's what I would tell
that
her.
would be a good plan.
Let's see. Maggie continues with, "We got to get a new traitor soon, right? I'm trying to remember when it usually happens. The traitors are turret. The traitors at the turret was nuts. Rob's face throughout the whole was the best." And Boston Rob is the only player left that I know from another show. To be honest, Bob H was the other one. I knew of Bob the drag queen. I'm Team Rob all the way, Maggie. All right. Oh,
Look at
Ryan in
look at the
chat.
He's
look
good
of
TV.
Brian's absolute
He's good
disgust
TV.
and
He
disappointment.
makes it interesting. I think this season has been the most interesting season so far of U.S. traders. Sorry, I can only say that, but and I think it's because of the way they play. If you're watching the episode, they are done with the challenge and in round table within 30 minutes of the show starting. It's way early because
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff going on. The challenge is just like whatever.
Yep.
It's such an
No one
extra at
cares.
this point, you know. And
They've really quick edited the challenges this year.
because there's so
Well,
much
'cause I
more
think-
going on that they got to get in.
Yeah.
Well, and I think they're getting the feedback that nobody really gives a rat's ass about the challenges.
No,
No.
not a whole lot. I mean, unless it's
You-
something where somebody's going to freak out because something's really scary, or there's going to be some emotional purpose for it. But the round tables have been good. Like the round table this week was so great because we really did have like push pull, rebuttals, redirecting. Regardless if we are rooting for the players or not that are in it, they were giving us TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what Rob does. That's why he's on these shows. That's
That's
they
why
Well,
you
it's
get
not just
paid.
Rob.
Okay, okay,
No,
the- the-
no, no,
okay,
not
great.
that. No,
You
no.
pair Rob with Derek
Yeah.
and Wes, and that was a combination that was going to combust.
Yeah. They were going to go after each other.
Brian, did you
And
run a
Hey, if
race?
anybody
You guys
is
have the graphic
listening,
ready.
if anybody that's listening besides me is so freaking tired of hearing about Boston Rob, please write in because the evidence is there for him. He's walking around after the round table saying, thank you for your vote. Thank you for your vote. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, bro. Nobody ever does that. Nobody
He knows
walks
that.
around and thanks people for their vote. What is this, freaking city council? I mean, give me a break. I want somebody besides me who's not like seduced by the vampire Lestat Rob, who's not been glamored, to come in and say like, look, I mean, like he seems like an okay guy, but like it's like he's like some charismatic religious figure with a cult. Like the show started with
Listen,
Boston
maybe he
Rob.
went to the crossroads and sold his soul. We don't know, but there's something going on.
Oh, he didn't have to sell it. The devil just gave him the gift because he's so awesome. The devil didn't even demand his soul. It,
No,
it's just. Look, Maggie, I'm glad you like Boston Rob, but all the dudes like me that are sick and tired of Boston Rob and want to join me on non-Boston Rob Island, I will send the dinghy out, and you can come across, and we'll celebrate here. And when he's gone, we will have a feast.
I think that
I wouldn't pay
Yeah.
that pyramid.
you know what? I think that you could probably get like Colleen over there on that island. I think she might join that. But you need to be careful because you don't want to go you don't want to go off course if the winds are heavy because you're going to land on Idle Island, and there's a big statue
the
of him
statue
there.
of Rob.
It's a real thing.
That is actually a thing. Oh, one season. Of
I would rather
Oh, you're
see
getting that
Tom
picture this
win than Boston Rob, if for no other reason than in the
No.
interstitial cuts this week, Tom held up a rubber ducky, and I thought, bless his heart for being game enough to do that.
That's
Like,
true. He did hold the rubber duck. I did enjoy they're getting ready for bed as they ponder the activities of the day.
But
Yeah.
does he like what's the rubber duck for? Does
Because he
like,
was in the
drive a Jeep?
bathtub. He was in the bath. Does he have a Jeep?
He has a Jeep. That's all that means to me.
All right. Well, I think we
What
have
do you-
another email.
what do you
here.
got, Brian?
Well,
Brian,
before we do
are
the email, Jamie, I think it's time to hear from our sponsors for a full 7 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Starting now. And we're back after possibly the worst transition in the world.
and we'd like to thank our sponsors: Boston Rob Apparel, Boston Rob Food, Boston Rob Whiskey. We'd like to thank our
Rob
sponsors.
Medical Center.
But wait, Boston Rob backward hats.
Boston
That's
Market.
So
That was actually
Says the guy wearing the backward hat.
Boston
no, I'm
Rob
not.
backwards
I'm
hat.
wearing
you're wearing
a
two, correct,
beanie with
Oh,
my
I see,
son's
yeah.
college logo on it.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
wearing.
nice.
He's got the West. He's styling West today.
Well, we
He's Team
have
West.
more feedback,
what? Okay.
and this one is from Mandy, our friend.
Mandy.
She's a fine
I
girl.
appreciate it. I was waiting for it. Somebody had to do
Sorry.
it.
I had to.
And she
We were all
writes,
hearing it in our head anyway.
he writes, "Hey friends, I'm loving the coverage this season. Why is it the
Yay.
pen for the Traitors is always so shitty? Can we not get a good Pilot G2 gel pen or even a Sharpie?"
True.
It's
It's
up there
so
for
true.
it.
It had like some weird scrawl too. It was like
And Carolyn
yeah,
got ink all over her hands and was leaving
like get her
fingerprints.
Sharpies. It needs to be dark. Like it looked like it was like, oh wait, she had to shake it. Does somebody else have a pen? You got that moment when you need it. That's what it looked like.
She continues, "Have you ever been asked, need help getting it up?" To which I reply, no comment.
Well, it made Tom feel uncomfortable.
Why is Tom even still here? I thought for sure he'd be gone week 1.
No lies detected.
So much traitor on traitor crime, yet Wes is gone. I love Wes and his game playing and hate that he's gone.
Yeah.
Derek needs to get Brittany's name out of his mouth now.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah, Derek, don't
These-
come for our girl.
These 3 traitors are too much and hate each other so much. Love a
That's
face-to-face murder.
That might
And
be
now, my favorite paragraph of this email. Also, justice for David and the Yahoo email address. I too am one who refuses to switch to the evil Gmail. I put the word evil in there. When I've had Yahoo forever, Mandy.
Okay, on the email, it's not if you had a Yahoo and that was your email back in the day and you just kept
It's
it because everybody's
permittable.
got it and you don't want to change it because that's what you got and it just works and everything. That's fine. We are not throwing any shade on that. We're saying that David decided on his own in 2025 to make a brand new email and his platform of choice was Yahoo. And it's fine. It's just we just like
Because
he's old.
Gmail
just
we
wanna
were
make fun of-
tally the votes CH.
Oh yeah, it was
I don't
horrible.
know. No one ever sent us
Who
an
made
email. I don't
that
even know what it
one?
was.
Who made
Hey,
that
and we
one?
have a comment. I'm going to read this comment.
Get it.
Dennis writes in
Oh,
and
hi,
says
Dennis.
Carolyn was wearing gloves at the next breakfast. I wonder if it was to hide the ink.
Oh, good catch. She was
Yeah,
wearing
look at
gloves.
Dennis.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together,
Dang.
but
Wow, Dennis is like Encyclopedia Brown.
That's pretty
That
good
was
catch.
Wow,
Dennis.
there's an obscure reference for old people.
I love that was one of my favorite books when I was like first grade. Well done.
I
Dick.
really loved the commercials. Just saying. They had commercials. Back when education
Encyclopedia
in book
Brown?
form. Yeah.
Are you talking about Encyclopedia Britannica?
Those two. They were
Oh, I was
competing.
gonna say that was a different thing.
You could buy the box
What
set. Well, I
happened to
don't
that
know if it's a
kid?
box
Anyway.
set, but you could buy the entire thing.
We could.
They had to compete against each other.
And then
I
when you
believe.
were back in the day, when you were really sad and you're stuck home and you got nothing to do
Yep.
because there was no internet, you just start reading the encyclopedia. That's how we
Yeah.
got smart back then.
When you're like, oh, it looks like I'm up to S.
So before we
My-
close, can we finish up the turret real quick?
Yes,
Oh,
please. I
and
want
had
to
something
go.
else I wanted to say too, but go
I
ahead.
definitely want to go back into the final meeting because there's a few things right at the end. Again with the Derek thing, where he suddenly decides like, oh, I think Brittany is a traitor, which I'm not like. Again, Mandy, yes, keep Brittany's name out of your mouth because we love her. So then we're going to go to our final traders meeting. And Brian, you go ahead.
Well, I love this. This is like, it's a circular firing squad, and my favorite part of it, Rob, I loved it because Rob totally lost control, and he tried to manipulate him. He tried to get him back in, and Danielle was gonna play along, but Carolyn wasn't having it. And when they said, "Okay, who are we gonna get?" she says, "I think we should kill you," and points at Danielle.
Oh my
I
God.
thought that I loved it. I loved it. And then Danielle said, "Well, if you do that, I'm going to come for you." And she says, "With what? More lies?" The beauty of what Carolyn's done is she's put Danielle in a corner, and if Danielle comes out with a bunch of stuff, Carolyn has the defense that she went after her the night before.
Yep.
And and I think in Rob's talking head, where you see he's completely exasperated, my favorite moment seeing him exasperated,
In the
I wanted to get a
fishbowl?
screen cap of it. Yeah. And he said,
The funny part
in
is he
addition to
wasn't
this
at
being a
all,
shit
but-
show, he said like Danielle and Carolyn want to kill each other. And you could see he was more frustrated that Danielle was, her gameplay was terrible,
And she put his name down.
and she put his name down. I think if it, just the little bit I've seen about Rob, if he has to choose, he will go after Danielle because her gameplay is worse.
Yep. He'll
Okay, well,
keep.
that dovetails right into the prediction I want.
Yeah, I think he's
Let
going
me
to
tell you how I think it's
keep
gonna
Carolyn.
play.
But I feel like it's necessary to quote his response to the two of them fighting, and that was him saying, "This is a disaster."
So here's how I think is, first of all, Derek going after Brittany is going to play in Boston Rob's favor because it's going to drive her right to him.
To him. Mhm.
Okay. I think he is going to try to murder Derek. Now, you would think, why in God's name would he do that? Because the whole world is going to look at him, right?
But
'Cause
Derek
it's a
said it
setup.
out loud.
Right? But so Derek goes home, and then what he's going to do is go to Caroline and go, Danielle's coming for you. It's not right. It's not fair. You've been a loyal traitor. We need to take her out. And the two of them are going to take out Danielle, and they'll all forget about Rob for another week. And that's how I see the week playing.
That could happen.
I feel like he does have. If he partners up with Carolyn in this, he allows himself the room to squeak by one more week. But if it's
That's
not
right, exactly
Danielle,
right.
if it's not Danielle, it's got to be Rob. It's a one. We're losing a traitor next week, regardless. If it's Carolyn,
Okay, but here's the
I'm gonna
problem.
be
And that's why he has nothing to lose by sending Derek home.
Here's the problem with the murder and the turret. So there was one group where they don't know who has the shield. That group was Chriselle, who has the shield.
That's
Derek-
Derek's group.
Derek, Sam, Brittany, and Dolores, which means I think none of them will be
Brittany.
touched.
Brittany,
Huh?
who's going to run and tell Rob.
that Derek doesn't have a shield.
Yep. She's going to tell him who has the shield. For sure.
She
You think?
now she might.
do.
Well, she would have already
might.
had to tell him.
The
before the
only
trip.
the only thing that makes me think that she would possibly is because Derek is not being quiet to Brittany, that he doesn't trust Brittany.
Yeah.
If he didn't trust Brittany and he was quiet about it, I don't know that she'd run to Rob, but he is making it really clear to her that, I mean, he was like nose to nose with her about it.
And let me say, as a guy with little bitty beady eyes, that man has little bitty beady eyes.
Derek
has a big old wide
he
head
does.
and little itty bitty eyes that are really close together.
Yeah, and then he gets to staring, and Brittany's like, "What?" So
No, what she said was, "Are you serious?"
Well, I
Brittany.
enjoyed
Yeah,
that
because
interaction,
he was
but
just playing around, and she's like, "Wait a minute, are you serious
Yep.
right now?"
I enjoyed that interaction. But in Derek's defense, and you know that I have to feel this, or I wouldn't say it, because I've not defended Derek.
Yep.
No,
He
I
did
hear you.
point out that she tried to say, like, before the round table, like something to Dylan.
Yeah, she's buddies with
She
Dylan.
did.
And, you know, like she's like, all like, you're not telling me what you're doing. Well, she didn't tell him what she'd talked about with Dylan either. Like, Brittany's going to be like the leader of the mean girl cheerleader squad that punishes like everybody else. You're going to see it happen, and she's going to be right there with the star quarterback, Boston Rob, killing faithfuls.
Maybe.
Right up till the moment she slits his throat.
Maybe.
That's usually
That's the
not
part
my
you don't
shooter
know
style,
about her.
but
Maybe.
She's ruthless.
But the thing is with Brittany, I'm gonna be really honest. The thing is with Brittany is she's not a gamer. She's a hanger-outer. She likes to hang out. She likes to goof on other people. She often says things like, "Oh my God, you guys, this is a game. It is so ridiculous how serious you're being." Like, it's all about a joke and like
And
a
she's not-
sarcastic quip.
and she's not a mean girl, and she's not someone who just hangs out
But
with
she
the ladies,
normally
but
partners with somebody,
A
a
guy's
male
group.
who's a lot younger.
and it's usually like a
usually.
group of guys.
Yeah.
She's the chick hanging out with the guys, telling
But,
snarky
like-
jokes or whatever.
But she
like,
likes
she
the
can hang.
or as far as like a loyalty pack, like the person she's closest to is usually going to be a much younger male and maybe one female. And Carolyn actually fits that type for her like really well. So I see Brittany's biggest loyalty at this point being Dylan and Carolyn, just based off of the
I hope
little
so.
bit we've seen and just her past gaming. That's not to say she doesn't see Rob as a train to ride to the end of the show, but
And a pretty good meat shield, too.
right.
that
But-
she's hiding behind.
But maybe, but don't you think the best meat shield in this game is Sam? Because we don't know anything about him.
Gary's just a big dumb
Like he
animal
just
that's
wanders
hanging out.
around and like
Well, no. I mean, Brian, usually when we're talking about reality TV, we talk about the meat shield as either the physical threat or the
That's
big
always a target.
personality who's going to
Yeah.
overshadow the
Yeah.
person behind them. And so that
Well, yeah,
person
you
will
can
go
always
home
be in
before
their
you.
shadow.
But
Oh,
see,
right.
that's the meat shield. Sam would be the meat platter.
well, I mean the way I think of
He's
it
the
is
Pretty
this:
Boy
like,
Alliance member.
like you take somebody along with you, innocuous,
Yeah.
because that guy's not gonna all of a sudden sway the room against you.
Except
Nope.
Brittany, that's kind of her game. She doesn't want somebody who's playing the kind of quiet.
I'm just imagining Brittany talking about Sam right now, like in the corner of the room. And then he was like, "No, Brittany." If we could just have an
just
episode
picture
of
this.
Traitors that's just overhearing Brittany's conversations, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love
Just
it.
picture this: standing in front of the final fire is Sam, Tom, and Boston Rob. What are the chances the faithful have? What are the chances the faithful have to walk away with anything?
No, that's painful. It would be a painful
None.
place to be.
So where are we on everybody's winner picks again? Who did everyone have? I had Derek.
Well,
I think he's going to go home.
Yeah.
I have Carolyn.
Yeah. Who did you pick?
Brian, you repick. You had to repick.
Yeah.
Who was
And
your
who'd you
I
original
thought
pick,
I
Brian?
had Carolyn. I thought you had Brittany.
No, I had Carolyn since the
She had
beginning.
Carolyn. You picked Brittany when you
Who do you
repicked,
have,
I
Christy?
think. I had Wes, but I have to repick. But I have no
Aw.
idea who I'm going to repick.
R.I.P. Wes.
Oh.
Who do you go when you have Wes? Who do you go?
You should
to
pick
next?
Ivor. Ivor would be a great pick.
Dylan. I think you should go for Dylan.
I think
I'm
Zac
telling you,
Efron's
Sam's
brother's
going
available.
far.
who? No.
Sam
Here's
is
the deal.
going
At
far.
this point, you just like, do you pick someone who's been getting, or do you pick?
Oh, how
the
about Gabby?
wallflower?
No one's talking about Gabby.
Gabby's doing great. She's getting the right
Well,
conversations
we're
with the
trying
right
to pick
people.
who we think's going to get all the money at the end, right?
Yeah, the winner. You bet.
None of those people are getting it.
I'll tell you who's a
Ivor
dark
just for
horse.
fun.
I'll tell you who's a dark horse that I might take if I was you for real, because she's kind of reasserting herself. That's Dolores, and Dolores is pretty smart.
Well, and nobody's
Well, I
looking
think
at
it's
Dolores
you, Tom.
except for Sam.
Who?
Yeah, well, Dolores, remember she was sus, and now she's disappeared out,
Yep.
and she's sitting back and watching stuff. I think she's going to become a player in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and might be the only person that Danielle has on her side, honestly.
No, I guess I'll pick Dylan.
Yeah, all right.
Zac
Well,
Efron's brother, everyone.
I mean,
Hey,
I would love to pick
You
Carolyn.
say
I would
his
love to-
name, David.
he said his name,
I'll
so
pick him.
it's-
I think he'll be there. For
I
a
even
while.
made a banner, Brian.
There you go. His name is Dylan.
And
All right,
he's
guys, is there
playing a pretty
anything else?
good game.
and anything else that we want to talk about before we close out for the evening?
Oh, our host Alan Cumming had a birthday this week. Turned 60.
Yeah.
Looks
He
fabulous.
did.
So we could say
Wow,
happy
Alan's
birthday
older
to-
than me.
happy
He looks
birthday
Happy
to Mr. Cumming.
birthday.
And yeah, and I wonder if his birthday was coming up. That's why he had that fabulous outfit last week.
The one
I
I,
mean,
have on my
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you
photo?
were, but like if you were Alan Cummings, like every day is going to be celebrated like it's your birthday. So
You know what? I'm a straight man, but seeing him in that suit, I felt the need for tweed. Okay.
With
Tweed and a
I
Bruce.
can't
She
get
was-
over it, but he did it. And then he had with a beret, and
Mhm.
those were nearly knickers. Those
They
pants. They
were.
were. They were short. I don't know if they were a pedal pusher or what kind of old timey word my mom would have called them, but yeah, he rocked it. He was gonna go golf.
he
or
rocks
something, I don't know.
everything. It's just his gift. It's his gift.
Yeah.
Well, my final thought is this. That was a compelling hour of television,
Absolutely.
and I couldn't wait after last week. And damn them for stopping in the turret.
always,
Oh, I know.
always,
Like,
Oh,
always.
I got to say some of the cuts, and you know they're so predictable. But some of these this week, I was like, really?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
And then
the
a Peacock, I
breaks.
gotta watch like a 60-second commercial. and I'm like,
Uh.
oh.
Like, come on, guys. Yes.
But it's
well,
funny when you watch it on Peacock because the breaks that they put in for TV aren't always commercials on Peacock. So you only get like 4 an hour.
yes.
And so sometimes it's like just a cut and then it goes right back to the show.
Goes right back
Sometimes.
into it. I think it got cut like right before Danielle like revealed her card.
Yes.
And my final word that I would like to say about this episode was when Carolyn wrote down Danielle's name and showed her card, and she was like, "Here, I mean, like maybe next week I won't cry as much, or I'll cry more."
Oh yeah, and she was like,
And she just slams the card down and rolls her eyes.
Daniel,
Loved
you got
it.
some splaining to do, girl. And that's
Well,
where it's gonna be
Danielle
hot.
better be careful.
Yep. And
She
Rob's
needs
gonna
to be.
just swoop in and be like, "Okay, I told you, Caroline, you were my number one because we're
I
both
think-
Survivor people."
I think Rob's good for another week for sure, maybe 2.
I think
And
Danielle's time
then,
is
and then you
is
never
up.
know.
Brian can't believe he's still there this week.
Yep.
Can't believe it, right? I told you, Brian. He's
Like a
like a
toxic-
fungus.
A
He's
toxic
Well,
fungus.
fruit.
ask Brian what I
It's a lot- real
texted
hard
him
to get rid of.
at the end of the episode.
David texted me and said, "See, Rob always has an army of idiots to do his bidding."
But what did I say
It's-
before that? I sent you a big picture of a cockroach.
You did.
Like,
You did. You did.
Like,
And,
Yeah.
you know, Boston Rob is the guy that eventually at some point when they have DNA, somebody will have a DNA test and he'll go, you know, that can be planted and manipulated.
And you know what's funny, Brian, is we're gonna have to get you to watch the Survivor AU versus US because you need to meet my friend King George. Because if Boston Rob gets under your skin, this guy will have you talking to yourself.
You know what, David? I did some work on the theme for Survivor AU,
Yeah.
and that may be my contribution to Survivor AU.
Oh, well, you should watch it if you want to jump on with us. You're more than welcome. But you should look. You should.
Well, you
It's
should
good.
at least
It's good stuff.
well Survivor AU the Brains versus Brawn won't have George on it. It'll be the one later in the year,
Yeah, sometime.
it's-
which is
Well, you
only
know,
10 episodes, by the way. So
I
we're
feel
quick.
like you know that since I've been on, we've gotten a lot of feedback. So I am the best podcaster, and you know what? F you guys.
Well, you know what? You know what? It's funny. It's funny because I just listened to, and this is no shit for all you people listening.
Oh.
I just listened to a 4-hour and 35-minute podcast with two of my co-hosts here, and a third one. And you know, Brian says he's the best podcaster, which means
They say I
he's
talk
he's
a
a
lot.
better podcaster than our friend Scott Eric, and I just think those are fighting.
Hey, that was
Don't-
just me quoting Wes. Okay, so let's
Yeah, why you gotta make it so personal?
you know what,
Why are
David?
you
Look,
putting his name in your mouth, David?
you know what,
That's not gonna
David?
go up.
If you want to be Danielle, I'm coming for you, David. You
Yeah,
got okay?
seriously.
I'm just
Seriously.
stirring the pot.
That's
Not
Danielle.
cool.
Da-
Not
cool.
Danielle David. There you go.
I don't know.
Daniel David.
Guys, you'll
Okay,
have to come back
Daniel
next week
David.
and see if David's still there. Maybe we murder him. We don't know.
Maybe you're going to be the next
I'll be murdered.
one. Murdered. All right, guys. If this hour has been worth your time, give us a like and subscribe. You can also listen anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. Just look for us at the Jay and Jack Whole Enchilada feed. If you have any feedback, you can email us at tallythefeedback@yahoo.com and come join us on Facebook or Instagram at Tally the Votes.
I mean,
As
it's what
per
all the
usual,
cool kids
That
are
was
doing.
Yahoo.com.
the Yahoo.
Old
Yahoo.
people site.
.com. As per usual, we're going to be back here on Friday to cover the carnage that's about to take place. So we surely hope that you're going to join us. Until then, best wishes to you and yours. Guys, it's been fun. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Best week of reality TV in a while. See you next week.